And what I'm going to be talking about is world famous ways to kill innovation and growth. Yeah, and I'm sure it will be of interest to you. The only request is do not learn this. They are just ways that people kill innovation and growth, not for the purpose of replicating, but for the purpose of eliminating. Okay, so here I start my presentation saying that my experience of innovation has been that people do not understand what innovation really means. Actually, definition of innovation is simple, saying doing things without being told. If you do something which is good and without being told, it's innovation. Congratulations if you've done something like that. Usually, in our workplace or at home, we do things usually after being told. Then it is called work, not innovation. Okay, so here you find a few people innovating, some pictures of good innovators. You might not like that, by the way, but still innovation, if they're doing something good. There's another word called corruption. Now these are the two words I'm going to be working my presentation on, corruption and innovation. Definition of corruption is an occurrence at the highest levels of government in a way that requires significant subversion of political, legal and economic systems. Now that is the most confusing definition of corruption. And that is why we are so confused about how to eliminate corruption. Corruption is, by the way, not such a difficult concept. It's just the definition has to be simplified. So I'm going to simplify it for you. Simple definition of the term corruption to mean that it is dishonest or fraudulent conduct by those in power. Dishonest or fraudulent conduct by people in power. And that is why corruption is not limited to only government offices. Corruption is in our homes. Corruption is at school. Corruption is in office. Corruption is all over around us. It's just that we don't see it. Whenever we got to see corruption, we go to the TV sets. And we switch it on and we look at the news and say, hey, that is corruption. By the way, I'm going to show you 7 ways in which corruption is all around you and you might have been victims to that corruption. Okay? But don't feel bad. There are ways to come out of it. Don't feel bad. If you've been victims of corruption, don't feel bad. There are ways. So, let's go on to the first character in our corruption. Person causing corruption maximum number of times in office, the boss. Let's look at another one. Parents? No. No. Now, you have been a victim of corruption if, and raise your hand because my friend Anish has given you the practice of raising and lowering hands. So do that once again for me. If you have been a son to any parent, put your hands up. Okay, good, thank you very much. If you've been a daughter, okay, if you've been a brother, especially the elder one, if you've been the younger one, probably you've been a victim to corruption. If you've been a sister, so, good. And if you've been a school teacher, if you've been a school student, or a college student, maximum, you might have been a victim of corruption. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I have been a victim of corruption so many times, and that's why I learned how corruption is. Now, corruption leads to more corruption. Now, that's a fact. Now, what happens is, if a boss misconducts with his or her subordinate, the subordinate also becomes corrupt. If the parent practices that at home, the child becomes corrupt. So corruption leads to more corruption. We all know that. So I'm going to give you 7 ways. Now, these are some of the top 7 expectations from a parent or a boss. First is that he has to be in control. Second, be a teacher, be smart, should appreciate work, should plan my career, shares my work, and saves me from trouble. Simple expectations. Now, I'm going to give you one of the first aspects of one of the first kinds out of the 7 of how a boss could be causing corruption. And that is the boss, which is the controlling boss. And let me introduce to you the female boss here on the stage. I'm using a female, by the way, the ladies here in the group, please don't feel bad. It could represent a man also, could be anybody. It's not that I'm being biased towards females. I would be very happy to place a male boss here and say, might be causing the same thing. So, the female boss or the male boss is very fond of controlling. Now the problem with controlling is nothing bad, but it's just that it confuses people. Because you always want them to do the things your way. And your way is the right way. And if somebody does it the other way, now that is not the right way, so you get killed, you get reprimanded, you get punished. Now, the same boss probably is also a parent. Goes home to the little kid. So introduce to you the little kid at home. Now that poor little boy or girl might also be a victim to the same problem of being, the parent being very controlling. So you want to always do, you want him or her to do the things my way. If he does it any other way, it's the wrong way. Now what will happen is that kids have their own way of getting out of that problem. They are not victimized like in office. Office is easy to victimize people. At home, it comes back to you. Life is full circle. What kids do is that they find ways of lying. If they do the wrong things, if they drop the flour vase, or they spill the menu on the dining table, they have their ways of getting out of it by lying. Have you ever heard of kids lying? Yes. Now that is corruption. When kids lie, that means they are getting corrupt. So what we have done is, by our controlling nature, we have added to their corruption. So corruption leads to more corruption. I said the boss has to be in control, but not of me, but of the situation. But everybody felt that control means controlling me. The next one is the parent, as you saw, could be controlling, and it leads to all sorts of misconduct by the kids. And we say, why is the kid behaving that way? Why do you behave that way? I mean, I am so unfortunate to have given birth to this kind of a rodent. But you don't know that he learned it from somebody. Okay. Now the second one of the 7 types is the teacher, but he wants to be the only teacher. Now that's the teacher boss. We call him the teacher coach, teacher boss. Now the teacher boss is always very nice with you, trying to help you, coach you, but only till the time you are with him or her. The day you try to leave their department or you want to move out of their shadow, they don't like it. They will sabotage your efforts. And you be careful, you're trying to do that with a teacher boss. They are jealous of you. The worst part is, they are like the girlfriend who cannot stand breakups. So, they are going to howl all over the place in the organization and tell everybody that you are not the right guy for their department because you know best. He has been with you. The same boss is probably a parent, comes home and wants to be the only teacher and tells the kid, "Bete, I am your father and mother, please listen to me only. If you go to auntie, she is the worst auntie in the world, she's going to tell you all the bad things. And by the way, uncle is even worse. So always learn from me." Now kids do not get you, because they want to get out of this teacher mentality. What they would do is, they would go to auntie, they would try to learn. You can't kill children's curiosity. What they will do is come back to you and say, "I did not do it." They lie. And lying is corruption. So what you have done is, you have corrupted the little kid. The poor kid is now corrupt. He knows that whenever he comes back from home, auntie's home, he has to come back home and lie. Now, where did you learn this lying? You know, he has probably a teacher. I said, be a teacher, not the only teacher. And then there is a boss This is the picture of the mother I could find, of the jealous mother who doesn't like the kids to go elsewhere. Now there's a young and smart boss. He always knows that he has very shallow knowledge. So he would flaunt that he has a Rolex watch, and he would flaunt that he has a bungalow in Zurich. But when you ask him questions, he doesn't know the answers. So he just tries to put you down. Because he has very shallow knowledge. So doesn't much in his head. Now when that parent comes back home, your kids will ask you all sort of questions. They say, probably, Daddy, what's the difference between a crocodile and an alligator? Oh, yeah, there's a lot of difference. Huh? Yeah, I know the difference. But shut up, why are you asking me those kind of questions? Or what have you to, are you going to be studying with crocodiles or with people? Now, what you're doing is, you are snubbing them, and they know that they don't have to ask too many questions. What happens to them is, they lose the ability to learn. They lose the ability to learn by asking. The only way to learn is what? Asking questions. And you are snubbing them because you don't have the answers and you don't wish to learn, and you're making them even more less knowledgeable. And when somebody in class asks them the question, they also feel that it's okay not to have the answers, or probably they will lie about the answers. That's again corruption. Sure. Now they will make all kinds of excuses, and they are ultimately rejected at school. And then we say, why does your teacher not like you? I don't understand your problem. Then we have another boss who likes to play favorites. Now that boss is the boss will only give a promotion to the person who says good morning every day. That is your field problem. That person gets selected. What happens at home? You feel that the same technique is going to work at home. And by the way, you have brothers and sisters suffering from sibling rivalry. Because you are always preferring the brother or the sister over the other sibling. And what that leads to is the worst kind of crime in the society, and hinders growth of the human mind and causes psychological issues with the people who are subjected to such human biases. But you do that because you are that's the only technique you know of controlling your people. I said the boss should appreciate work, not entertainment. You give a bigger piece of cake to your kids, whom you like the best, and not to the others because you don't like them. And what happens ultimately when the kids grow up? They grow up in a kind of a false camaraderie. You see, you feel these two sisters love each other. They may seem to, but they hate it from within. Because since childhood, and they're not at fault, since childhood, somebody subjected them to bias. Another kind of boss is the retirement boss, retirement managers. They are always looking for their retirement. And so they do not like fresh ideas. If you come up to them with fresh ideas, I want to do this, I want to change the decor of the office, I want to introduce a new program, I want to get sales to a new customer, and they will snub you. They say, why are you getting these big ideas for? Are we not a successful company already? I mean, am I not good? These bosses go back home and they kill the ideas of the kids. The kids come out with weird ideas. Dad, let's play football in the swimming pool. Gone out of your mind? When are you going to start behaving like me? Like an adult? We want our kids to be adults. So why, for God's sake, why do we need kids then? You might as well give birth to adults. Okay? So I said, my boss should plan my career, not my retirement. And retired parents don't give their kids any new fun, so the kids are always looking for things to fill up vacuum in their lives. All sorts of wrong things. They get after money, get after liquor, bad food, unhealthy food, or video games, and then we tell them, bad boy, learning all bad things. You know where they learned it from now, so don't say that next time. Because you know they have a teacher who's teaching them how to get into, these are not things that they're learning by themselves, they're just trying to fill up the vacuum in their lives, which has been created. There's a tricky politician boss, by the way, who is always changing. In the morning he told you that he will give you that big promotion. And in the evening he said, and you enjoyed, you know, you had a big glass of beer in the evening. You liked it. And then, later on when you went back to him, he said, there are certain rules, I can't promote you at this stage because time does not permit me, the management does not allow me, the world is going into a recession, and the policies are not permitting. So we can't do your promotion right now. I'm so sorry. Now that is very disappointing, because now you know you have a politician boss. And the politician boss can be very dangerous. You can't trust him or her. And the same can happen at home. So, you have a politician parent. Congratulations. So what happens to you is that the kids, when they know that they have politician parents, they become very cautious. And they become politicians too. And kids are probably better than us at politics. Because if they don't do a job, they come back and simply say, I forgot. Big deal. Why should I be sorry? Sorry is not in their dictionary. Because they learned it from you. Did you ever say sorry at office? So why should they say sorry at home? So sorry is not in their dictionary. And did dad not do the same thing the other day? You have the right sentence point. You said the right thing. And the last one is probably a savior boss. You know, the savior boss is trying to save you from trouble. They will not allow you to get into trouble. So they are the best bosses you have. If you are good at presentation, they will not allow you to do a presentation. They will send you into the design room because you're not good at design. You need help at design. Okay? But I know what I do best is sales. I guess you can do well in sales, so you need development in operations. So they come back home and then they are always the savior boss. Beta, don't go to the park because you're going to get beaten up. And this guy actually tries to do something new. He goes to the park, actually gets beaten up, comes back and you say, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you not to go to the park? So next time I tell you not to do that, never do that. That's a very usual instruction by a parent. Never do what mama or papa doesn't tell you to do. What that does is, it kills the risk-taking appetite of that guy. Next time he will never do anything. Even not raise kids when he grows up. You have those men who don't want kids because they are too scared. Their mama told them never to have. So, I want to finish my speech by saying that I hope that my message has been able to make us realize that it's not about a person's nature, but it's an outcome of nurture. We have to make a differentiation between nature and nurture and not blame everything on the person's natural behavior, but try to introspect. If we are in power, with power comes great responsibility, and I hope the same message is being passed on through my